Hello everyone, welcome in. My name is Krista Lee and this is Exist in Love Tarot if you haven't been here before. And if you have, thanks so much for tuning back in. We are going to jump right into a masculine, feminine, twin flame energetic check-in today. It is 12:12 when I'm recording this, and I just want to honor the shifts that I've been feeling energetically and this portal energy that we are moving through right this very second. So I thought it'd be a great time to check into these energies. I already pulled some cards from my astrology deck. I really love to use this deck to kind of just see energetically what we're dealing with in these readings. So what came out for the twin flame check-in, I found pretty interesting. We have communication, third house energy, and Juno partnership energy. And do you see how they're both two birds here on both cards? Definitely mirroring energy. There could be communication coming through in the 3D realm, but definitely feeling shifts in the 5D for sure in terms of this rebalancing happening between the masculine and feminine. So I'd like to jump right in and pull cards for both the masculine and the feminine, starting with the feminine. And we're going to be starting with my Wild Unknown archetype deck. And I will be reading directly from the book for these ones because they're such detailed cards. I really prefer to do that for this deck specifically. So let's see what archetypes are coming through here. I really just want to try to get one card for both the masculine and the feminine. And let's start with the feminine. That was two, so I'm just going to pick one of them and not look for the moment. And let's get one for the masculine. That was a bunch, so we're going to keep shuffling and just see if we can get one to fall out here. Okay, that was a couple. I'm just going to, again, pick one. And take the rest. And let's see. We have, interesting, the storm on the bottom. So let's see. For the feminine, we have the desert. For the masculine, we have the lover. Let's read these. Let's take a peek and see what we have going on here. The desert for the feminine energy. Let me show you this card as well. That moon energy too. The desert leaves us disoriented, desperate for direction, grasping for meaning, longing for solid ground. For endless miles, we are confronted with a lack of clarity and existential dread. We are thirsty, hungry, pleading with life to get back to normal, to become animated by the simple pleasantries of day-to-day life. The desert offers no such comfort, and all must pass through it. If you can embrace the discomfort of the desert, knowing you will someday reach water again, you can tap into the potent energy of the landscape. Its lights are blindingly bright, and its darks terrifyingly deep, which makes for unbridled creativity and clairvoyant visions. Truths reside in the desert that otherwise remain hidden. The crows, the shadows, and the coyotes surround you. Let the wind and the sands work their deep magic, weary traveler. Unexpected visions, silence, surreal and strange. The desert is alive and pulsing with energy despite its desolate appearance. Turn toward it rather than away from it. Yeah, so I find that to be really interesting as someone who aligns with the feminine energy here. And this is regardless of gender. It's like whatever you feel most in alignment with. And I love twin flame readings because it also speaks to both the masculine and feminine within each of us. If we're just talking about ourselves here. But I feel that that is such a powerful and sacred message to come through right now because we just had Neptune go direct in Pisces at the 29th degree, and I feel like we really have been going through such a silent and sacred time. that's really given us this opportunity to lean into that silence and to lean into the unknown, to really not force us, I want to say force us, but kind of like the universe is finally, it's ironic because I feel kind of like we are being forced into this surrender, but it's also a choice. And it's like the more that you resist that, I think the bigger the storm is going to be, right? It's really how you're utilizing this energy of nothingness. And, you know, I read this poem in the last twin flame reading I did, but it came through really loud last night as I was going to sleep, and something I say in the poem, it's called The Silence, and I wrote at the end, it's in the turmoil, it's in the silence where we remember. And it's like, how deeply can you lean into that silence and really discover your own resilience, your own magic, and your own internal empowerment that is not tethered to anything outside of us other than our own center, our own soul, and our own soul's journey. And how can we really become empowered from within and become this bright light from within, so that no matter what the landscape of our life is looking like, we can still be confident in our own internal sovereignty. So I find that to be a really beautiful message for the feminine, and speaking to the wounded feminine energy that comes up in all of us is like, how deeply can you surrender to the unknown and not feel the need to chase or to force things that are maybe resisting us at this time? Or how can we just be okay with the unexpected, or not having expectations, or not knowing what the outcomes are? And I think that territory, when we start to stop looking at love as something outside of ourselves and start to embody love, to exist in love, is when we can really turn this bright light on and really not only shine through the illusions for ourselves, but for the people around us too. When we can, really truly embody that love from within, I feel like that really destroys, and I'm getting the word, kind of incinerates. Is that the right word? Is that a word? But yeah, just forces the illusions to evaporate and to fall away. I think incinerate is the word I'm looking for. But just, I'm just like getting this image of like the illusions just falling away, because that light is so bright that anything that is not standing in truth or in that love is going to see itself. And it just brings so much clarity when you can really stand in that energy in your own sovereignty. And then you see that love is about alignment and frequency, and it's not about chasing or forcing things to be a certain way or look a certain way. It's more about shining your bright light from within and shining that love from within, instead of love being something outside of you. And that's the irony of it, is that when we can do that, that's when like the 3D realm can really come into alignment, is when the divine feminine chooses to find that love within and chooses to rise in her own sovereignty and empowerment. So, really powerful stuff here going on. Now let's read the Lover for the masculine energy here. Let me find it. Just give me 1 second. Let me look at what page it's on to make it easier. 95. Okay. The lover for the masculine. Pulsing through the heart of the lover is gratitude. The lover appreciates and experiences the world through the senses, revealing in beauty, song, art, music, sense, and sensuality. This energy awakens at the tip of our tongue when we taste the sweetness of honey, kiss a lover, or speak gentle words to a child. The lover lingers in foreplay, aroused not by the getting there, but by the slow merging of self and the other. This energy is usually experienced for short periods of time, as in order to feel it, we must be fully present and awake with no expectations or rules about what should be. Rather, the lover is in awe of what the world presents, revealing in the glorious details, grateful to savor every last drop of life's offerings. Connection, expansion, devotion, awe. The lover archetype is present everywhere, not just where conventional forms of pleasure and beauty are found. The lover's awe is unconditional. Wow, that's really beautiful. So I feel like the feminine is really being asked to surrender. Oh my God, this is such beautiful energy. It kind of makes me want to cry. I feel like the feminine is really being asked to surrender and to find that embodiment of love from within, where the masculine is in this energy of surrendering in a very different way, where they're no longer denying their emotions and they're starting to open up to this unconditional love, this compassion, this empathy. So it's such different energies, but I feel like that's what's like rebalancing this connection, is because the feminine's no longer for this collective, right? The feminine, and there's this energy for the twin flames right now that is really awakening, and I think that is caused by so many different things, but I think part of it being these major cycles ending in Pisces with Neptune and Saturn. I go more into depth in that in the December astrology. If you want to check that out, I have that linked below. I find it really helpful to understand like kind of what's going on and what's needed of us to know how to like navigate it with a little bit more ease in our minds and stuff. That's something I just like love about astrology in general. But the feminine's no longer like looking to the masculine to validate her worthiness, or looking to some external thing outside of her to validate her worthiness. And again, like regardless of gender, you could be feminine, aligned with a feminine archetype or energy, and be a man or they, them, or however you identify. You know your story best, you know your energy best, right? And you could align with both these energies, because this is simultaneously happening within us. And that's the whole point of the twin flame journey, is when we get down to it, it's really about this, our capacity to love more authentically, more deeply, and not from a place of ego or the way that our society has kind of like the ideas that we have grown up with around love, but really like what is actually the embodiment of love, and what does that look like, and how does that show up. And I think it's very different from what a lot of us maybe have grown up in. If you're aligned with the twin flame energy, you might have had a very like tumultuous beginning to your life. That often is the case because you're learning such intense lessons at such a young age, so that you can like integrate these lessons and shine them for the collective. It's a very powerful energy to be a part of. And yeah, just honoring that for what it is. But back to what I was saying, is just there's this shift where, yeah, the feminine is no longer searching for that love external to them, but finding it within themselves and embodying that love and just shining it And that surrender and that ability to shine the love and open our capacity to holding that frequency without this external need for validation. I feel like shining that light and rising into that frequency is what is now allowing the masculine to awaken and heal and open up to their emotions and their capacity to love, because there's no longer this pressure. So it's creating space for the masculine to open up and receive love, and allowing them to come to those conclusions on their own. And for the feminine as well, like, it's very like mirrored, right? It's very the same but different. And that's allowing the feminine to also receive and open up and allow, instead of like trying to figure out what's going to happen or controlling the external. So what a powerful way to start this reading. Let's just keep going. I love doing oracle for these types of readings. So I want to dive into my crystal medicine oracle deck next. This deck feels very aligned with like ancestral energy, so definitely want to pull one for the feminine and one for the masculine here. The feminine, I am presence. And the masculine, inner wisdom. And the bottom we have personal power. So the feminine standing in this energy of presence, just again, this embodiment of light connected to source. Very beautiful energy. It feels like the chakras are, the energy is able to flow through the chakras and really just embodying and embracing their true north, their true selves. And that, I feel like that energetic shift is also, on the other hand, shining this light, right? Shining this light to the collective. And it seems as though the masculine is now leaning into their own inner wisdom and inner truths, which I'm sure will unlock this compassion and empathy for them, right? So it's very opposite energy. It's like this desert trusting when there's nothing to show for it and just being that love, where it's like having that frequency. And then the masculine, on the other hand, is now able to access their emotions and access their own inner wisdom, because the feminine isn't like attached to it. I feel like it's like this frequency of like when the feminine is constantly reaching out and like grasping at the masculine, it forces the masculine to then go external to themselves and avoid themselves. And it's like when the feminine goes within and just shines brightly, then the masculine can go within and tap into their own wisdom as well. And I meant to mention this too when talking about Neptune and Saturn going direct in Pisces towards the end degrees. We're going over a very karmic degree, the anaretic degree, the 29th degree. Saturn will be there. I don't think Saturn's made it there yet, but in the next few months it will make it there. And there's this feeling of illusions really coming down and truth being revealed. So that's just such a beautiful thing to experience, especially after just having Neptune in Pisces for so long. I think there was benefit to it for sure. And I think there's going to be a lot more clarity on the way here. And so many powerful lessons learned through having Saturn in Pisces and having Neptune in Pisces as well. So now I feel like it's time to kind of like ground that energy into action, which is, again, really beautiful. And the overarching energy from this deck, we have that mama bear eagle energy, but we also have personal power here. So I get the sense that both sides, masculine and feminine energies, are stepping into their personal power, and mirroring that, which is really, really a lovely energy here. So let's keep going. They're telling me to pull one more card from this deck for each side. So let's do that. Let's pull one more for the feminine and one more for the masculine, and then we'll go into our next oracle deck. The feminine, we have the healer card coming out. The masculine, celebration. And on the bottom we have self-expression. Beautiful. Okay, so the feminine really stepping into her they, them, he, you know what I mean. Yeah, sorry. The feminine really stepping into their healing capabilities, and something about healing hands. The hands have never popped out so much on this card for me before, but I'm really being like, you could just have a lot of energy that wants to come through your hands. You may be doing energy work here. Maybe some type of Reiki or massage or channeling through your hands. That's really powerful there. But regardless, definitely stepping into your healing capabilities in a really tangible way. And the masculine, celebration. I like that for the masculine. It feels like this sense of really like unlocking a new level within themselves and like understanding themselves on a deeper level and understanding their own personal power and their own like their own desires on a deeper level, which is like freeing them up. And we also have, again, for like the overall energy, we have self-expression. So that goes hand in hand with this personal power energy. There's a level of self-expression being unlocked here for both sides. And that's the whole point too. I feel like before twins can come together in the 3D, I think there does need to be this level of coming into oneself first so that both can stay grounded within themselves to be able to handle the frequency of the connection, as it can be quite intense. So let's keep going. I want to get a message from the angels as well. Prosperity, Archangel Ariel. Let's keep going. Sensitivity. Okay. So we have your material needs are provided as you follow your intuition and manifest your dreams into reality. So I feel like this is asking both the feminine and masculine to really, I didn't put an intention for these to be for feminine and masculine. So this is energetically for both sides. But this is really asking both the feminine and masculine to trust the universe and continue to follow your own intuition and watch that unlock new opportunities for you. You obviously like still need to take action and like follow your intuition. You can't just like sit around and like be like, oh, I want this and like wait for it to come in. Like there does need to be some action. Like for instance, there was one day where I was like, okay, it's time for me to find a job. And I just sat there all night, even though I had other plans. Something really called me to like do it that night. And I applied to a bunch of things and I got a couple different offers and the right thing fell into place for me. So that was like very like synchronistic. And it's like, okay, this is where I'm meant to be to support my other creative endeavors. And everything kind of just like flows nicely together now. And same for the masculine, like really trusting yourself and like opening yourself up to new opportunities and stepping out of like so much fear and having a little bit more trust in the way things play out and align. even if the 3D realm doesn't quite yet look how you want it to look. There has to be some level of like believing in yourself here. Then we have sensitivity with some really beautiful imagery here. It says, Archangel Haniel, you are extra sensitive to energies and emotions right now. Honor yourself and your feelings. So asking both the masculine and feminine to really honor where they're at and keep moving forward. And healthy lifestyle, Archangel Raphael, so definitely healing energy coming through here. Eat a healthful diet, get adequate sleep, and exercise regularly for optimal health. So just a reminder to take care of our physical vessels as we move through these very intense energies here. And we also have nurture on the bottom, Archangel Gabriel, also the messenger angel. As you nurture a child, you nurture your own inner child. Both activities are important for you right now. So definitely taking time to really nurture oneself. Definitely beautiful energy here. Yeah. Let's get a message from the angels specifically for the feminine and specifically for the masculine, and then we'll look at the bottom card for the overarching energy. So one for the feminine. Oh, 2 cards came out. We'll take them. Breathe, take several deep breaths, and exhale slowly to awaken your energy and release old patterns. Archangel Raphael coming through again. And you know what to do. Archangel Uriel. Archangel Raphael is very much like a healer archangel. And Uriel is one that he really helps us to kind of manifest our dreams into the reality. This says, trust your inner knowledge and act upon it without delay. So yeah, the feminine, I feel like, is just being asked to really continue to be a bright light and shine that light and keep moving forward and following her intuition. Now for the masculine, 2 cards came out for them as well. Okay. Overcoming difficulties on the bottom. How beautiful. The worst is now behind you and you are surmounting any previous challenges. Wow, that's so stunning. That's for the overarching energy for both masculine and feminine. And then we have relationship harmony coming through for the masculine. We angels are opening the hearts of everyone involved. Arguments and conflicts are now being resolved. That's really beautiful. So I feel like if this collective has been in a time of separation, this could be where like communication comes through. Spirit could like divinely align you to see one another. Or there could be some physical messages coming through here. Clairvoyance, I'm helping your spiritual side to awaken fully so you can now... Oh, sorry. I'm helping your spiritual sight to awaken fully so you can clearly see heavenly love. So I feel like that's, again, what I was saying earlier with the masculine is I feel like the masculine has really gone through a rough time of it, and I feel as though that the masculine is now with this feminine really embodying her truth and kind of like energetically, like literally putting less pressure on the masculine and just like realizing their own wounds when it comes to that and really embodying that love like I talked about earlier. I feel like that's really freeing up a lot of space for the masculine to see clearly the love that is around them, and just to like see the feminine rising and embodying that love as well, I think is very inspiring to the masculine and helping them to heal and feel that they have the space to like come to terms with everything on their own and come to their own emotions on their own. So very beautiful healing energy here. And definitely with that overcoming difficulties, like the feminine really being guided to breathe, you know what to do, which I feel like is, again, holding that frequency of love. And still like honoring and having boundaries, but it's when the feminine can really like learn to protect their own peace while still embodying that love. That is just such a powerful frequency, and it really shines the light for the collective. And again, that is creating softness and space for the masculine to open back up to their own emotions and to clearly awaken and to rise themselves to see this sacred love that is written for them. So really beautiful energy. Let's look at the tarot. We can do past, present, future, masculine, feminine, and then the connection. And then I do want to pull a couple more oracles to close it out. So let's do that. So let's start with the feminine. Past, present, and future. Past, present, and future. We have the Knight of Cups, the Hanged Man, and the Tower card. Okay. The masculine. The Lovers card. Oh my gosh, we have the Ace of Swords and the Empress card. And then we have for the connection, past, present, and future. Past, Queen of Pentacles. Present, the Hermit card, and the future. Two of Wands. And the Three of Wands on the bottom. Or no, excuse me, the Six of Wands on the bottom. Very beautiful. So the Knight of Cups, the Suspended Person or the Hanged Man energy, and then the Tower card for the feminine. So I feel like in the recent past, the feminine has this like, again, like open energy to them where I feel like they're just like kind of open to maybe have done a lot of healing where they can just be open and not so they're just open. They're just like, I'm here, but I'm also not gonna like sacrifice myself, you know. One clarifier on the Knight of Cups. Yeah, Temperance. There's a sense of balance here. There's a sense of, again, everything I've been talking about, this like just holding that frequency of love and continuing to focus on themselves and keep moving forward. And, you know, it's interesting to look at these energies. Let's pull one on the Tower card for this feminine. What is this Tower card coming through for the feminine in the future? Five of Swords. That was a few too many. Anything else on this Five of Swords here? The Knight of Pentacles. Okay. Anything else? Page of Wands. I get the sense that one more on the Five of Swords, please. Whoa, that was a lot. We're gonna keep shuffling because that was too many. One more on the Five of Swords. Seven of Cups. The High Priest. I get the sense that the World card, there could have been a repeating cycle that the feminine continued to go through in the past that led to this sense of hurt and being left out in the cold, or maybe some manipulation there. But I get the sense that this energy really forced the feminine to slow down and become this Knight of Pentacles energy where they've learned a thing or two and they're not going to do the same thing as they've done before. So even if this Tower is like communication coming through, because we do have the Page of Wands here, I just feel like they're going to go differently about the situation because of the past. Now, the masculine in the past could have been confused or unclear and needed to like go into this sense of hiatus or hermit mode to close out this cycle with that world card. So what is the Tower specifically coming through here? The Chariot. So yeah, Page of Cups on the bottom. There could be a message coming through to the feminine, which shifts the energy, but the feminine has learned now, and again, is just going about this very differently. Like, look at, there's the Nine of Pentacles. So the feminine has really stepped into her self-confidence, her internal sense of groundedness and stability, but there's movement forward here. So I just feel like the feminine is moving forward from a very, very different place than before. Whereas I feel like before, they were coming from a place of wounding and hurt, and now that energy is going to be tested. Have you learned the lessons? Have you really stepped into your sovereignty? And how are you going to protect your heart this time? Or are you going to like sacrifice yourself again? Because as long as there's this self-sacrificing energy, nothing can be really sustained in that, because there won't be balance. In order for the feminine to move forward here, there needs to be this internal stability so that she can withstand the energies and the power of the frequency of these connections here. Now for the masculine, we have the Lovers card, the Ace of Swords, and the Empress. I can't show you the Lovers card because of the nudity, but I'll kind of show it to you. So we have the Lovers and the Ace of Swords and the Empress card. So it feels like there is this sense of clarity coming through for the masculine. I feel like it's interesting that the feminine in the present has this Hangman, like they're not doing anything in this situation, which I think is the right thing to do. There's this sense of like creating space, right? And continuing to focus on yourself and keep moving forward. And I think that is what is bringing this clarity in for the masculine around the feminine, and seeing the feminine much more clearly as this Empress that she is. This embodiment of love is exactly what I was saying. They're now understanding and seeing the feminine much more clearly. Now, in the past, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So I'm also seeing that there could have been like some sort of communication, maybe a light communication that kind of shifted the energy of things, or maybe even energetically there could have been a shift here, because I feel like this is very different from the last check-in I did, where I feel like there is this like, we're starting from a clear place, like the feminine coming from this balanced energy, and that creating this more sense of groundedness between the connection now. Almost like a restart that's, again, bringing that clarity, the feminine still taking the space, and that's creating shifts here. And again, the masculine seeing the feminine much more clearly. And yeah, I love that we're starting with this energy of like the connection coming from a grounded place, yet a place of openness, yet stability. And just like, I think both sides, masculine and feminine, have gone through so much, this stormy energy from earlier, right? That there is a sense of taking this much more seriously and much more slower, which is creating this sense of stability, because there's just like this energetic shift in both parties, this maturing too. I do love this Ace of Swords and Empress card for the masculine. It just really feels like everything I talked about before this even came out, because we had this clairvoyance. I'm helping your spiritual side to awaken fully so you can clearly see heavenly love and relationship harmony. So yeah, I just feel like the masculine is gaining a lot of clarity around the feminine right now. And in the connection, in the present, we have this Hermit card. And I feel like that's exactly what's happening. There's still this sense of silence here. There's still this sense of sacred space. And again, the feminine with this hangman energy, and then the masculine with this clarity coming through. So yeah, again, I feel like everything I already said, it's like showing up not only in the oracle, but in the actual reading itself of like the feminine not having expectations, embodying that love, bringing clarity to the masculine, and just this sacred sage healing wisdom coming through in that silence. And then in the future, we have the Two of Wands, and we have the Page of Cups on the bottom. We did have the Six of Wands, so movement forward as the overarching energy when I first pulled these cards. So this is an energy of like, what are we wanting to create here? Anything more on the Two of Wands? Anything more on the Hermit card too? Six of Wands and the Eight of Wands. So this is movement forward again. Six of Wands coming out in the actual reading now. And the Eight of Wands. So this could be communication about how we want to move forward and what we want to create here. So that's really beautiful. And we have the King of Swords coming from a place of not emotional, but from a place of clarity, and that feels pretty grounded to me. Anything on this Hermit card? Justice. I love that. Hermit energy bringing in justice and rebalancing energy. Libra energy. Wow. That's so funny because I will say that I wasn't going to bring this up, but I did the Libra reading and somehow it like didn't end up recording. So I like started over. But the original two cards that had came out for the Libra reading was the Third House and the Juno partnership cards. And I talked about that a little bit in the video that actually ended up being recorded. But I find that so interesting that we have this like Libra energy coming out in this reading, and just that balancing of the scales, and just how we have like the two on both cards. It's almost like, oh, this is so beautiful too. Think about this, is like the masculine and feminine within each of us really balancing out to mirror that energy here. I love that. I also witnessed a unexpected proposal at my work today between a masculine and a feminine energy, and I just felt like that was very symbolic to witness as well on this day. So, and lots of 444s today, the number 3838, which is also like 1111 twin flame energy on the 1212 day. So I thought that was really special too. Now, let's see anything coming through our magical unicorn decks to honor. I just felt like this reading feels very light and like a new start, and like very beautiful energy and a lot of healing energy here. So I wanted to use my more playful light deck to close out the reading. And my intention with these ones are just the overall energy, and then I'll pull one for masculine, one for feminine. But also we're moving into the year of the horse. So just this is the last month of the year. Let's close out this reading and close it out with the energy of the horse as we enter this new year. So we have water, drink more water, eat foods with water in them, such as fresh fruits and vegetables. So definitely that Virgo, like taking care of ourselves energy coming through here. You'll know in the morning, when you wake up, you'll have a better idea of what to do. Relax until then. So again, I think for both parties, we really just need to relax. Definitely for the feminine with that breathe energy. If anyone's having anxiety, really leaning into like meditation or just the energy of joy. Try something new. That could also help. you'll only know that you can do something if you try. And then we have simplicity. Put your energy into the basics and let go of the excess. So really stepping into, I feel like this is really asking you to just continue to focus on yourself and to continue to cultivate yourself and like take care of yourself before anything else. But let's see one for the specifically the feminine. Specifically the feminine. Love. Brothers and sisters. Now one for the masculine. Very soon. Oh, and since 2 came out for the feminine, we'll pull one more for the masculine. Beautiful. Oh, guys, this is so cute. Okay, love. The answer you're seeking is love. Really embodying that love, feminine. Stay confident. Let that fear leave your mind. Let's clear it out. I'm taking it away from you. We're taking that fear right out of your mind. Nothing that is meant for you is going to miss you. You got this. Allow that peace and love and harmony to sink into your brain. Yes. Brothers and sisters, to get along with others, see the love and the best within them. Okay, that's a sweet message. I think the most important thing to take away from that is, like, when you can be a light and really embody that love, you can share that love freely while still protecting yourself. And it's not something, it's like something that I find really hard to put into words until you really embody that love and feel it inside of yourself and, you know, understand boundaries and how to like protect your energy. It's something that you can share freely with the world without being drained by others. And that's understanding how to meet others where they are while still protecting yourself. And I feel like that is like the strongest message I'm getting from this. And of course, like maybe talking to your siblings or connecting with your siblings could be valuable to you at this time. But yeah, just really leaning in and understanding how to embody that love without allowing others to drain you, I think is just such a beautiful energy to tap into, and it really shines the light for others to help them heal. And then there's not this like grasp or attachment or expectation on others, and you can kind of like allow people to heal and like be where they're at and like see people more eye to eye and human to human than like projecting like either illusions or outcomes that we want that aren't in like currently happening in this very exact moment. It just like allows people to be who they are and where they're at, and there's a lot of freedom in that, allowing people to be where they're at. And I think it is really a selfish way to live in one sense, but in a very selfless way. It's just such a powerful frequency. And I just think it's important to talk about, because in my own life, I've realized like when you can truly like love yourself and regulate yourself and heal your wounds, not to say we all have to do that alone, but it really does shine the light for other people, and it you're no longer like looking for that in another person. And again, that helps you to really align with love rather than like force love or then project like your wounds onto others. yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about that. But so then the masculine we have very soon, what you're asking for will happen very soon in a happy way. Such a beautiful energy with those sun rays beaming through. And wish upon a star, make a wish and expect the very best. So very beautiful energy for the masculine there as well. Feels very healing. And just, again, I feel like the masculine is just really like tapping into their emotions again and really understanding themselves on a deeper level and doing some good healing work and really awakening to this path. So that's very beautiful. And then we have happy thoughts, which I think is most important right now. To feel happier right now, think about a memory or something else that makes you smile. I think it's really important, I think especially for the feminine energy, to really, again, continue to hold that frequency of love and light and continue to rise into their sovereignty and, again, continue to shine that light for others to step into it as well. So thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. If you guys have any comments, I would love to hear your journeys and your stories about the twin flame path, or even if you don't call it specifically that and you're still watching, I just love to hear your experiences and any reflections you've had, like if this is aligning with kind of what you've been experiencing in the 5D or 3D. Yeah, definitely share it down below. If you ever want a private reading from me, I do twin flame readings and energetic check-ins. If you want to dive into your own personal story more deeply, you can always reach out to me via email.